The thing I love about jukeboxes is it actually stops you still in whatever you're doing, and you just listen to what's coming out of the speakers.
The selection of the songs is supposed to live there, but I want to see the records spinning around.
Exactly.
You know?
Hey guys, welcome back to musicstudios.co.nz. This is part 2 of our studio tour with Jesse Wilde and Studio 38, and thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming.
And we were just talking about your co-engineer Tyler, the drums guy, and look who happened to show up. Tyler, it's like you were sung.
Yeah.
Thanks for making a cameo.
Yeah, no problem.
Earlier we were talking about the drum sound, and I believe this is sort of the best drum sound that you've heard in the studio. Would that be right?
Yeah, well, we have 2 rooms. We have the main live room, the smaller one that's acoustically treated and is quite dry. It has like kind of a modern drum sound is generally more dry. But for bigger stuff, I like to pull everything out here in the larger live room. And yeah, it's definitely probably my favorite room sound I've heard in a long time. Yeah,
what do you think makes the room? Is it the microphones? Is it the engineer? Is it the...
I mean, it always comes down to a combination of the engineer, the equipment, the microphones, the space you're in. The space is probably the hardest thing to replicate and to move somewhere else because you can't have like a mobile room. But the size definitely helps. It's just quite a large room. The ceiling's high enough, but then the combination of a large space with the right acoustic treatment means it doesn't just carry on forever. We've got imported Spanish acoustic tiles that just line the walls. There's custom designed panels on the ceiling that it's a big sound, but it's not too much. There's not too much stuff bouncing around. It's just right. And it's the sound I've actually been searching for in my head for a long time, and I came here, did the first drum recording in the big room, and was like, that's it, I'm done, I'm happy. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So let's come to Studio 38. It really is a great place. It's a great studio, and it's an awesome location. It's in the heart of Auckland, right on Queen Street. So where would you place the drums normally for, say, a typical...
I'll generally go about here. It's like a quarter or 2/3 of the way in the room. In here I'll put it a little bit off axis so like the kick isn't pointing straight at a wall. And then we'll set up just as many mics as we can. I like to have a couple of room mics on the far side so we can capture more of the space going around, as well as all the close mics, just so you've got everything to work with.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks for the tips.
Cool, yeah,
that was Tyler, our drum tech at Studio 38. We are going to show you around the place. So let's do that with our lovely host, Jesse Wilde. So take us around your beautiful home / studio.
Well, so we have each room. This room has 32 channels that comes through the wall here, which we can patch into the mix room which we were in before. These cupboards here have 4 channels going into each, and Tyler puts people inside the cupboards. You can see right there. We've got.
Okay. Yep. I'll be your model then. So
exactly.
Just like this.
My daughter's got her guitar in there as well. But but these were really built for isolating guitar amps and things like that. So if we're doing a live recording in this room, like a 1-room recording, you could isolate the guitar amps. So I got this idea from John Mellencamp's studio. He had these cupboards, and I was like, "What are you doing with those?" And it's like we can have a full band. Playing like we're playing live, but if one guitarist makes a mess up, it's isolated in there, and we can overdub that little piece. So we've got 2 of those cupboards. There's another one there. You can just plug in here. That's just full of guitars at the moment, which and all sorts of things. But so this is a great multi-purpose space where we're doing an orchestra, if we're doing like a cast of a musical and things like that. We've done all of that. Like you've got such a big room, you can just set up. We had a whole bunch of. I had like 20 school children singing. It was a bit like Pink Floyd's The Wall. We don't need no education. We're getting that. The kids singing that. But it was for another original song. So this is a very great multi-purpose space. You've got 32 channels there. You got the cupboards, and you can just move it around. We use this for record release parties as well. We have the jukebox. Now we've got the vinyl lathe. We can literally record, take it to vinyl, stick it in the jukebox. You can have an album listening parties. So if you come through this way, so we've got the 3 TV screens because we filmed my wife's TV show, the Kath Vincent Show, here as well against this backdrop. We have an AV cupboard here, which has there's a piece of my handmade vinyl right in there, and it's one of the best surround sounds you've ever heard in this room. It's all been stuck a microphone in the center of the room and calibrated all the speakers. So that comes through here, and the subwoofer's there, this huge subwoofer. But we can play vinyl. That's a piece of hand-lathe vinyl that I made on my own lathe. This is my new album. And so we can have vinyl listening parties, and it sounds amazing. And we can have CD listening parties. We also have independent film releases here. We've got a 150-inch screen that comes down there, projector there. We've done, these sort of listening visual parties where you have a video for each song, and you listen to the album and the audience sits down and sees a visual for each song as well. So that's pretty cool. We have all the TV show lights in there for when we're filming the TV show.
Yep.
And we've even had some, motivational movie nights and things like that, where that's why I bought the popcorn machine. That's from Chicago, that popcorn machine. It came from a little fairground. This is the same brand they use in picture theaters. Same brand they use in the picture theaters. It's a Critter from Chicago. This jukebox came from Michigan. And probably I've heard it's one of the best sounding jukeboxes ever made.
Yeah.
The Wurlitzers look really great,
yeah,
but they break down all the time, Wurlitzers. And these things are reliable. It works where you saw it playing before. They sound great, and they're a piece of Americana history. This is from, I think it's Rapid City, Michigan or something. And so we have, this is the main big room, which is very multi-purpose, and great to come to and record an album here, and then to have 50 up to 70 of your best friends coming, and we do live performances here as well, so you can do a live show, then you can have a listen to the album and have this environment. We want it for industry people as well to come and sort of to hear your album. It's a cool, funky venue to do that in. It is.
It's got a cool vibe. It extends out that way as well, but the main studio.
So we've got reception through here. I can quickly show you through here.
Oh, yep.
So you use this for recording as well. Tyler uses every space. He'll have a singer here, have this door closed, isolate there.
Yeah.
So that's Kath Vincent, my wife. So Wilde Records is the actual name of the studio. Studio 38 is the whole complex.
Yeah.
And we have a waiting room here, which is cool to hang out. And you can watch TV. We got Netflix and everything on there as well if you need it.
So nice.
So you can chill out here.
And a nice view of Auckland Central right there.
We're just off Queen Street. So Airedale Street runs right off Queen Street.
Yep.
This is the box that my record lathe came in from Germany, and it's become a bit of a feature of furniture here. That's the couch we use on the TV show.
Yeah.
And we have a little kitchen here. We've got 2 fridges there and a third fridge.
Very important feature of any studio is the coffee.
Look at the wine glasses, though, and the champagne glasses. That's pretty important.
Great.
So we have parties here as well.
And it's a very comfortable room, I feel.
Yeah, normally all these chairs are stacked in the cupboards, but I think we've been using the cupboards for other things like recording. But even through here where the bathroom is, I have to show you this.
Oh yeah, I saw that when I was going to the bathroom.
Tyler's using
just in case you feel inspired, there is
this is in the foyer of the bathroom. But you haven't put people in the bathroom yet?
No, have you recorded? Sorry?
Yeah, not yet. We're in the middle of a big album. We're doing 6 or 7 vocalists at a time. So we've got them all isolated in different spaces. Yeah. Which is another big feature, I think, of the studio is being able to record so many people in different spots all at the same time.
So it's cool. So in the foyer, you see there's a microphone there. Yeah. I have to show you my garage too.
Oh, okay.
So this is where... I tried to answer the question, how many toys can you fit in one garage?
Oh, yeah, you stacked upwards.
So I have my wife's car. This is my tour van on a car stacker. Have my motorbike's actually outside because there's a motorcycle park right outside.
Cool.
So this is a hydraulic car stacker or mountain bikes up on the ceiling. And so it's and we and if we want a big equipment, we can actually load it onto the car stacker and wheel it in. So that's one of the other good things.
I'm sure there's a couple of car nerds watching this right now, nerding out at that. That's cool. And I love that you're cyclists. I love cycling.
We got about 5 different bikes here.
And this ping pong table?
So the tennis table, when you're resetting, resetting up for drums or something like that, and you musicians want to have a stress relief, one of the best things is ping pong. I think it's great to have table tennis in any studio, and lots of studios do have table tennis tables, and probably a great reason why.
How good's your game?
I'm getting, I've always had good hand and eye coordination, but me and my wife have these pretty phenomenal tournaments. So I don't know. I think I'm pretty good. But
come with us. This is the studio itself. We're gonna head into the control room as well. But tell us about this room. This is great.
This is
Love it.
Another very multi-purpose room. This is a John Bonham Signature Series kit, and with other things added to it. My drummer in my band who I've had for 20 odd years, he's from Denmark. That's why there's a Denmark flag, and he's basically put this kit here on permanent loan. He's got 2 kits. It's a huge bass drum. It's a pretty nice kit for recording, isn't it? Mm. And so yeah, we have that. We have a selection of guitar amps. We've got some Marshalls and some Fenders and some Mesa Boogies, and this is an old Jansen keyboard amp. There's another Marshall quad. Is that your little Vox there?
Yeah, that's great.
that little Vox.
This guy here, how does it record? Because I know tiny amps can sound amazing.
Yeah, no, it's been amazing. I've sent it off to mix engineers in other countries and stuff, and they've emailed back like, "What is the amp you use for that tone?" I'm like, "Oh, it's a trade secret."
The secret's out now, and there's that's one of my favorite little Ampeg bass amps.
Yeah, I do love Ampeg.
Sounds great in the studio, and this is my wife's bass here. She's got it. It actually sounds pretty good recorded. This, eh? Yeah, so, this is a Squier Fender P bass special.
Yeah.
So it's got lots of nice sounds come out of that. So we've got 32 channels coming to here. This is tidy.
Is this the amp room? Is this where you usually stack amps for recording?
Yeah, we use it for everything. So depending on the drum sound you want, we can have the drums in here. We can do it for vocal overdubs, acoustic guitars. We're currently set up. We had an acoustic guitar recording. Mm-hmm. We've got a nice Takamine. I say Takamine. What do you say?
Takamine.
These are all different pronounces. Yeah. So that I use that a lot for recording. I've also got a very nice Ovation, which I use if I want a different sort of sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, this room is used for everything. Violin, everything.
I do love Takamines. My first proper guitar was a Takamine, and I've had it for years. And I've got more expensive guitars.
Yeah.
But it's just something about the.
Really nice sounding. I think that one is.
Oh, I love the body. It's all about the wood, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's a nice sounding one, but if you come through, so you'll see how thick the walls are. Everything's like double doors, acoustic doors, double glass. So you've got, I think there's a 13 millimeter triple layered acoustic glass on that side, sloping. Yeah. And on the other side, it's 11 millimeter acoustic glass. I learnt this from the acoustics engineers. You need 2 different thicknesses, and the glass itself is triple layered, so it has a mylar plastic layer in the middle. So it's all about sound penetration is about what they call densities. Sound hates traveling through different densities. Like sound will travel through solid steel really well. If you have a solid steel beam, you can hit one end and the sound will travel straight through it. It loves it. But if you put solid steel and then something soft and then another piece of solid steel or concrete, all those different densities, it can't go through it, because each time sound travels in a sine wave, and each time it goes through a density particle, it changes the sine wave, and then but if that sine wave is, so you get a 13 millimeter triple layered acoustic glass, pretty hard for sound to get through, but it changes the sine curve for that. You put another 13 mil layer, it'll go straight through. Without resistance, because the wave has changed. But if you put an 11 mil layer, a thinner layer, it can't get through it because it has to change again. And each time it changes the wave, it loses velocity, or it loses its strength. So that's what it's all about. You've got the walls are this thick. You've got space, which is absolute cavities are great, because that's, again, air is a different density. You've got double layers of acoustic jib on this side. You've got fiberglass wool, and you've got polyester wool. So we've done different densities again, and then a space in the middle. And the only places it joins, you'll actually see there's a rubber seal here. In fact, there's nothing there. It's just felt. So there's a felt piece in here. So these walls are completely split. You can feel the split there.
Yeah, I can feel that. Yeah.
And and then you've got the acoustic doors. They've even got, you'll hear them when they click. They've got little seals on the bottom of them. And that's seals. You can actually fit inside here.
You can hide your bass player really well there.
Currently inside the wall.
This is a great place to hide the bass player. I have to geek out at your piano because I'm a pianist, but what's the history about this?
She's an oldie, and Greg Haver was in here the other day.
Oh, right, okay,
I'll show you how it goes. So, you know Greg Haver?
Yes, is it the Feelers or?
Yeah, he did Feelers, he did Up Shop.
Manic Street.
He played drums in the Manic Street Preachers. He said he liked this old piano. She's a bit... This is probably 100-odd years old. It's from Ontario, Canada. I am going to spend a bit of money and maybe upgrade the keyboard a bit. These are ivory, but it's good. It's called an upright grand because it's bigger than your standard upright. That's what I've been told anyway. And it's got a lovely sound. And Greg was like, well, it's just enough out of tune that I like it. But
yeah, I do. It's got that honky tonk 1920s kind of.
That's what we're going for.
Yeah,
I've been offered a grand piano here as well, but where the hell are we going to put it?
Where are you going to put a grand piano there, Jesse?
I don't know. So if you come through here is the mix room, which we saw before.
Yes.
Now, I've got, this is an old reel-to-reel that I just happened to pick up. This is a ferrograph from 1957, the same year that this building was built.
Wow.
And there's the Ron Howard Beatles documentary. There's about 6 of these, 6 or 7, all lined up in Abbey Road studio. There's this exact model, the ferrograph. I think the mono, quarter-inch mono, and they're doing all the loops for Sgt. Pepper's. Like, I think there's a thing of George Harrison's holding a pencil with one of the tape loops on it, and they're running through, and he's holding it there. And these are all the old valves, and they're a very old piece of technology, and I'm sort of
beautiful.
I'm gonna just get that because I love that. And I've got another reel-to-reel in there you might have seen. Now this is the other thing. This whole rack here, the entire rack, no labels on any of the knobs because if they were labeled, they'd be in German. This is a vinyl lathe with a diamond stereo cutter head. You turn that on, that's a little suction that sucks the swarf that goes up under our deck. Outside, there's a German vacuum cleaner. Now, this guy, I believe, I don't know if he worked for Neumann or he used to just fix Neumann record lathes. And he was tired of them always breaking down, so he decided to design his record lathe around the Technics 1200. He did it on purpose, Mark 1 or Mark 2. So there's an SL 1200 Mark 2 I've got. The more modern ones are not as strong motors, he said. And he said, they haven't changed this design since the 1970s. And he said, it'll never break down. And I've got 3 of them, just because I love them. So I got 3 of these turntables. So he designed his whole thing, this record lathe, and you can control the speed and the depth of the record, and you can wind the spaces. It's a very manual process, but all of this is like vinyl optimization stuff. I've got a Tascam sound card there, which you can do a 96,000 kilohertz 32-bit file from this computer straight to vinyl, where CDs are only 44.1, 16 kilohertz and 16-bit. You can do a lot higher quality straight to vinyl. Vinyl has all of its own parameters, so I've been learning how to not only master for vinyl, but my new album, which I did, which is right here, the Wilde Taylor album, which was recorded all in here, although we did the drums in South Carolina, because one of my absolute favorite session players, who I get an incredible deal from, and I offer that to all my studio clients. If you don't have a drummer in your band, you want the best session player around, we can just remotely record the drums. He's got real drums, and the keyboards were done in Mississippi. Another one of the best session players in America who works in conjunction with the studio. We offer that to our clients as well, and it's very good value. You can have these incredible musicians. You can come in here, record the guide vocals, guide guitars to a click. We send it over to these guys. They put the real bass, real drums. So the drummer also plays bass. And we did all the guitars and vocals here, and the rest, and we're mixed here. Yeah. So I'm studying about learning for mastering for vinyl, and when I met the guy who made this lathe, the only way you can buy this lathe is to fly to Germany, do the training with him, and he decides whether you're okay to sell the lathe to. And he was like, yeah, you don't master for vinyl, you mix for vinyl. So I remixed this album from scratch for vinyl. Putting the vinyl parameters on it, because vinyl it has different parameters. The warmth of vinyl, there's a reason that warmth is there. So I literally, I set it on the master bus. I thought, oh, master for vinyl. But then I'm like, okay, I've changed the parameters of the sound. I can't hear the acoustic guitars anymore. So I said, oh, maybe that German guy was right. So I went back and I started remixing the song with those parameters on the master bus. So vinyl has a different frequency range, and you have to mix within that range. You're not allowed to have any stereo bass. The trebles can't be too trebly. The basses can't be too bassy.
Is it still 20 to 20 frequency, or is it just different bumps and dips?
It's just there's certain frequencies that won't fit on vinyl.
Right. And it's usually the low ones, is it? Or?
And the really high ones.
And the really super high ones.
And if you have stereo bass, like even a bassy acoustic guitar done on stereo, because I love doing acoustic guitars in stereo, I pride myself in getting a really amazing acoustic guitar sound here, and a really amazing vocal. So and now we're getting really amazing drums and bass. So we're getting things covered. But there's just different parameters. If you got stereo bass, even from a bassy acoustic guitar, it'll literally jump the needle right out of the slot, because it's a stereo lathe. Unlike Peter King's lathes, I think they're mostly mono. I think they're all mono. I don't know. This is a hi-fi stereo lathe. So I bought this thing, and I'm still. It's a craft like anything. It's not like burning a CD. I showed you one of our CDs that we make here. They're very easy to make. Lathing vinyl is a craft, and I am dedicating myself to spending the 10,000 hours learning the craft. And it's a pretty hands-on process. All vinyl starts as a lathe. People don't realize that. Or some people, we can lathe to lacquer or to acetate. No one uses acetate anymore, but sometimes for a free, you can still get them. As a hand lathe vinyl is becoming very collectible. So we got all these different blanks here. You can have. That's what it looks like with a protective coating. You peel it off and it looks all shiny like that. And you can literally straight to 180 gram vinyl. I've got different thicknesses as well. If you want to make a picture disc, you can lathe that's got a protective coating. It's 100% see through that. You can lathe onto that, and then you sandwich. You get two of them together. It's got, for some reason, got a blue sticker on it, but it's clear. And you put your photo in there, and you've made yourself a picture disc, and you've hand lathed on either side. So it's becoming quite collectible. We've got a stack, and there's about 7 different sizes. If you want a very small piece of vinyl, you can have that.
You were showing me this vinyl earlier. Your friend who signed to
this
Jack
is
White's label.
Josh Headley. I believe he's playing tonight at the Tuning Fork. He's an American guy. I think he lives in Nashville. He recorded this in Nashville on Third Man Records. I've got the actual record in the jukebox at the moment. But it's quite a nice little package to sell at your gig.
Yeah.
A piece of vinyl, jukebox vinyl, because you've got different, one with the big holes. My one's
got one in there.
That's not it.
That's something else.
I pulled something out of the jukebox and stuck it in there. And you can have one without the hole. If you got this one for my lathe, you need to put a little adapter. And I've got little adapters for that. But yeah, we got this, I believe that's 7-inch, and then we've got 10-inch, and we've got 12-inch, and there's a few other random sizes in between. Yeah.
So talk to Studio 38 about getting your vinyl cut, because that's
the
way to go.
I'm doing it for special clients and stuff like that. But it's going to get. Hopefully, I'm going to have another and a German intern who's going to come over here for 6 months, and he might help me run the lathe. That will be kind of fun, because she's a full-time job.
Cool.
But I mainly use
control.
This is the control room in here. I mainly use Cubase.
Yep, I love Cubase. I'm a Cubase man.
So I think I'm up to about 8.5, or I'm actually using 7.5 right there, but I do have 8.5 as well. By the real software, I believe.
Cubase is the creators of VST, and I find that they're a pioneering company, aren't they? I just love them.
Well, it's interesting. A lot of people use Pro Tools, and Tyler does use Pro Tools, so we can do both. And then a lot of people use WaveLab for mastering, which is a Steinberg made by Cubase. So ultimately, the project comes out of a Steinberg animal anyway. I started on Cubase, and I love it. It's just my thing. Yeah. When we
got a session up.
I've just got a session up, but I'll show you a little bit how we recorded our latest album here. Yeah. So we will start with the mix downs. Oh yeah, each song. So I was going to start with this one here. This is a song that I wrote. So when we, all right. So if I'm a singer-songwriter and I don't have a band, this project was a sort of a side project. We call it Wilde Taylor. We perform, just going to look at my time here. we perform at the Lumsden Free House in Newmarket twice a week when we're not on tour. We sit from 1 till 4, and we're a duo. We sometimes have a fiddle player with us, or we're sometimes a trio. We've performed big festivals and stuff all around New Zealand and toured up and down New Zealand and sell physical copies of our album, quite a few so far. And we're going to release it on vinyl as well. But when we decided to start this project, it was just the two of us, so we didn't have a band, and we didn't want to put a band together because we just love playing duo, and it's a great way to make a living.
Yeah.
And make a good living, and a lot of bars can't have a band in there and stuff.
Exactly.
But we wanted the album to be a full band, so I just set up a standard click, and this is how it all started. So click, Ed Taylor's in that room there playing. He's the most amazing guitar player and songwriter, and he's classically trained with a degree in music. He's also jazz trained, and so he's playing guitar in that room, and I'm singing in this room, and we're doing a click. This is how the song starts. So, I better turn the speakers on. Okay, so when I send it off to the drummer, I pan the click into one, so we're just hearing the click there.
Yeah.
And I pan the rest and all the rest into the other speaker. So when he's playing, he's got a stereo set of headphones, he can literally turn the click off or turn it on when he wants it.
Okay.
So I send it over to him sounding like this.
Yeah, I hear that. Click here, music here.
And this is all live to a click. And I'm in this room doing a guide vocal. Well, I can't make things levitate, but I know what I got, and what we got is great. And I don't see angels, but I believe you do. I don't see nothing, girl, if I can't see you. Well, that's a nice husky vocal.
Dude, your voice is amazing.
That's a guide vocal. I'm like, this is like 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, dude, I don't want to be singing right now, but that's
the first time I've heard you singing. That's amazing.
And then the drummer comes back with a fully multi-track recorded live drums, and bass, and then we start layering it with a keyboard player from Mississippi, and this is what it sort of comes out sounding like.
Nice.
Well, I can't make things levitate, but I know what I got, and what we got is great. And I don't see angels, but I believe you do. And I don't see nothing, girl, if I can't see you. I ain't gonna let you let me go. I don't think so bad, girl, you don't know. Why you so afraid to let this grow? I ain't gonna let you let me go. Love that hammer.
Yeah.
You've been my best. So that's, we've got some beautiful layers here. This is Caroline Chavin. I think she's Swiss. She's living here now. She's quite a big pop artist herself. And she's doing the backing vocals. So we've just layered her here.
6 stacks.
Yep.
Of BVs.
Yeah, it's a stereo, different 3 harmonies in stereo. So you've got.
You don't know.
So you can hear all of that. Like.
To let this grow.
How do you like to pan your?
Let me go.
So that's a 3-part harmony. And it's doubled. So I'll put and I'll stereo them. So I'll put one in that speaker, one in that speaker. So each harmony is stereoed. That's how I like to do it. I hard pan them left and right, and then there's one lead vocal there. Just the one lead vocal. Yeah.
To let this grow. I ain't gonna let you let me go.
And then you've got. The drum sound I think is amazing, and if you hear it all soloed that we can get, and I think he does a pretty damn good bass too. And we've got shaker and tambourines. You've got just real, nice and real. And then you get your bass here with the bass. I love that, like, you get your Hammond B3, and then you got your piano. Get some violin.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I mean, that's Nick Jones, who performs with us. Incredible, absolute musical maestro. And we call ourselves Wilde Taylor Jones when we play with him. And we've done quite a few shows together. We did it So Far Sounds. If you go onto YouTube and look up Wilde Taylor on So Far Sounds. You heard of So Far Sounds?
So Far Sounds, yep. Performed there myself. Yep.
And we did, we filmed the So Far Sounds right here with about 70 people and
cool.
3 different bands all playing in this venue. It's so cool. When we do the TV show, we have musicians on the TV show. Like we've had Midge Marsden, Hammond Gamble, Harry Lyon from Hello Sailor. We've had some really, and some of the younger amazing guys like Kieran McMeekin, who is we get quite a bit of radio play lately.
Yeah, he's a great
Jasper
songwriter.
Hawkins. We've had some, what's the girl who supported Bonnie Raitt? I've got her CD up there.
I met a guy because I performed at So Far once, and it's a great way to tour Europe. He would just visit all these So Far concerts.
Oh, Jackie Bristow's her name. Yes, we've had some pretty neat. I just put some CDs and stuff up there. Yeah. Jackie Bristow came and played on it, and so it's kind of great to be able to perform live on TV with a really great TV lights, great TV cameras, but to have a studio right next door where Tyler, I'm hosting the show. I used to have to run around and man my little, my portable rig, which is now part of the vinyl lathe. That Tascam was my portable rig. And, so I'm hosting the show and Tyler's recording it and, multi-track in the studio right next to the TV studio when they're performing. I don't know if there's any other TV studios that can do that. Have a full audio studio here. So what I love about what we can offer, I truly believe we can offer the great value and great quality, and especially if you're a singer-songwriter without a band. But if you are with a band, you can just come in here and we can get the whole lot done really quickly, as I think I mentioned before. 5 songs, but that it would have been quicker if the whole band was there. We had one guy doing all the instruments. Yep. And we can set them up and do live recording, but have the joy of having all the instruments isolated as well, so you can just control it better. I think we offer great value recording, especially for singer-songwriters who don't have a band. They can come in here and, I'm amazed how quickly we can get the guitars and vocals done, send it off to America, get a really nice drums. Because we've got the best musicians, I believe, in the world in New Zealand, but there's not a session player who's playing 40 to 50 hours a week session. This guy in America, that's what he's doing. And he's playing for people all around the world. He contacted me on LinkedIn and said, hey, have you got a studio if you need drums? And so this guy is literally playing, he told me between maybe 50 to 60 hours a week he's playing session drums. So that's how good, and that's how he can keep his costs low. He has his mics all fully set up all the time. And then he plays bass as well. So he interprets your song and puts really nice bass. I think I mentioned before, I've sent him at least 1,000 songs so far, and I think 2 clients have said, I'm not too happy with the drums, and he's gone and re-recorded them for free. But that's not a bad hit rate out of
that's really good.
And Andy puts the bass on them, and then this keyboard player will put piano, Hammond B3, and some strings on there as well. And if you want an incredible fiddle player, Nick actually plays piano, violin, and bass. You can get him in. We've got some really great session backing vocalists as well now. I've got an incredible session guitarist named Ben Zurisic. I don't know if you've heard of Ben Zurisic. Plays in a band called Royal Jacket. I think they're playing tonight at not the King's Arms, it's gone, at the Dog's Bollocks. Okay. Got some really great session players, and that's what it's all about.
Exactly.
And it's really interesting. We get a lot of comments on our album, how live it sounds and how real it sounds. I used to not use click at all, but now I'm kind of saying, the click's okay, but we only use it so it starts with a click, acoustic guitar and vocal. As soon as we get those drums back, the click's gone forever, and then you're playing the whole lot to the drums. This drummer is so good at playing to a click, it sounds like he's not playing to a click. and that's the key. Drums need to breathe and stuff like that. But if the Rolling Stones came in here and wanted to record, which could happen, I probably wouldn't make Charlie Watts play to a click because he doesn't need to. Yeah. And he's refused it before. But if you want to build up a song and it's good to have both options.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people to comment about how live and real it sounds when it is done to a click anyway, because the click is only used in a very small instance. And then everything's done to the.
It's not, I don't always record and click myself. No. Sometimes the feel is a little bit better, especially if the band's been playing a long time. So
I've got a couple of mixing desks that I use.
Yeah, tell us about your Allen and Heath.
This is the Allen and Heath QU32. So Allen and Heath designed, I believe, mixing desks for Pink Floyd when they first started, and I've always liked Allen and Heath's. This is kind of like a combination between an analog and a digital desk. You've got all 32 sliders. Tyler loves this desk as well. It's great because up to 7 musicians can hook into it with their any Android phone or Apple phone, iPhone. You can actually create your own headphone mix.
Submixes? Oh, wow. Okay.
So submixes, but we don't. We've got 2 headphone preamps.
Yeah.
It's another feature, and you can operate it with an iPad as well remotely. But it's just nice to have all the sliders there. Tyler's like, it sounds really, really good. Like the preamps in there are really, really good. It's really clean, really clear, and everything's in there. You can have your effects built in, mainly for, if you want a bit of reverb when you're recording your vocal, and that can just be done. And it's hard to do that, I find, on an analog desk. I've also got another little analog desk which is hiding under there, which I sometimes use for different things. It's an Alesis 32 Studio Pro, I think it's called. But so I use that for different things as well. We've got see, this is its own sound card as well. But I've also got a Mark of the Unicorn sound card, which goes up to 96,000 kilohertz. I think it's 24-bit. So, yep.
I love the monitors. Are they the 2020 bass ones?
Well, they were originally called 2020s. Then they changed the name to PS8. So
right.
They are exactly the 2020s. These, I think, they're
the Grammy ones, aren't they?
They're handmade in California, I believe. This was so originally they were called the 2020s, and then this is the first batch that came out. They started calling them the Project Studio 8s, and I just love them. Yeah,
you can really hear everything. It's like a magnifying glass.
Yeah, the whole 2020 concept was like 2020 vision. They're not supposed to taint the sound. If you get a speaker that makes everything sound good, and then clients take their stuff out and play it on a radio, or in their car or somewhere, and they go, oh, it sounds so good in the studio. It doesn't sound great on my thing. But I get a lot of comments. It sounds great in the studio, and it sounds great on everything. And that's what you want. You got a little subwoofer down there. It's just a little M audio subwoofer to have set up.
A monitor switch for the big knob.
The old Mackie big knob, so you can switch between different things. I had a whole lot of other speakers set up, but I just found this is the way to go.
Yeah.
And I had a little speaker bank. Switch between car speakers in my old studio, but so much of the time I just decided no. But if I want to hear that, I'll burn it to a CD or send it to my phone and play it on the system out there. Play it. I've got several different stereo systems upstairs as well. Just play it on different systems and go, that sounds good. That sounds good. Get out of the mixing booth and play it on different systems in the same area. Yeah. And I can do that too, and that's great. And then so you can hear it's going to sound good on every system.
This for talkback?
That is an old like replica Elvis 50s microphone, and we use that for talkback. Yeah. I just love the funkiness look of it.
I love it. Yeah. No, that's great.
I've even got this is the old funky standard that I used to use on it too.
Okay.
It's like an old school 50s mic stand as well.
That's beautiful.
So, yep, I got my collection of vinyl down here. There's my Marshall fridge. I think I might have mentioned that before. Not a lot of beer in there at the moment. You can open it up. There's some wine in there.
Marshall should make a beer, by the way.
Yeah. All the knobs go up to 11.
I love that.
So if you're
it really does.
If you're a Spinal Tap fan.
Spinal Tap reference.
So I have a few collection of I play mandolin and acoustic guitar. We've got a really nice Ibanez, a 12-string there. A lovely Noel Gallagher signature series Epiphone, which is just particularly
that's beautiful.
Nice sounding guitar. That's
12-string
US Fender Strat up there, which also has a Jeff Beck signature series humbucker pickup in it. There's an old American banjo. And I've got 2 mandolins, my main mandolins packaged up for my gig, which I have to shoot off to very shortly. And so we've got a selection of amps, and there's a little baby Marshall down there.
Yep.
And a lot of different microphones that we use, which we've got to see in here.
We are time pressed.
We get wrapped up, yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. So,
we'll
we can talk about it.
We'll wrap it here.
You would have seen all the mics and stuff. I'm a big fan of the Rhodes microphones. There's a story behind these microphones, which I'm not going to talk about but these particular ones here you cannot buy anymore. They took them off the market because there was a bit of a copyright infringement issue with them. And if you can get a hold of these mics, they're really priceless.
Yeah.
The new ones don't sound the same. But yeah.
And really, you have lots of tools of the trade here.
We do.
And it really is a great studio. Thank you so much for having us. We know you're
thanks
a
for
busy
coming.
man.
Yeah.
And it's been a real privilege to visit Studio 38.
Well, I've been enjoying watching your show, and I think what you're doing for studios around New Zealand is just great. I mean, every musician needs to know what's out there, and if one studio is not going to be right for you, the next one will be, and it's great to know what's out there. And I truly want to support all musicians and all studio owners. Get out there, because you don't build studios to make money. You build studios to make music, and everyone should be making music.
Exactly. And it's like finding the right hairdresser as well.
Exactly.
So, someone that is going to make you look good and sound good.
Yep.
Thank you so much. And
pleasure.
You can't go wrong with Studio 38 in the heart of Auckland. Thank you so much for watching musicstudios.co.nz. Click the like button, subscribe, hit the bell, and stay tuned for more episodes. Thank you. Stay cool and stay creative, everyone. Thanks, Jesse.